Okay, so there's something on my mind, and I just want to get it recorded, I guess. So I was thinking about this man that I met briefly at my friend's cousin's quinceañera, and he was outside smoking, and I was outside too, and so was this friend, and he was talking about how he sells cocaine, and I said, oh, okay, well, do you, whatever. And I told him, I was like, have you ever worried about selling to somebody who may be addicted to cocaine and you may be feeding their problem? And he said, no, because addiction is a choice. And I was kind of confused by that. I was like, you're joking, right? Because it's obviously not a choice. And he said, no, it is a choice, because you can only be addicted to a drug if you are weak-minded. And I've heard people say weak-minded a lot. I've heard people say that in songs from all types of genres. I've heard kids say it at my work, and they're like, nah, these people, they're just weak, they're just like weak-minded. And me, I'm like, I'm like strong-minded. I have a strong head on my shoulders, whatever. And it's all these weak-minded people. And I just think that idea is really so interesting to me. Especially the idea that, for example, people who are mentally ill are weak-minded. And I saw this on the internet, on twitter.com. I saw somebody talking shit to somebody that said that depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder, and all these mental illnesses are only people that are weak-minded get them. So that what you need to do is, sit yourself down and focus on all the positive things and get out of it. Just think hard, but your mind is too weak and you're not strong enough, and that's why you are sad. That's why you are mentally ill. And that specifically was what got me thinking about how these people believe that. How people start to rationalize that being mentally ill or, having an addiction means that you are weak-minded, in quotations, right? And I was thinking about, like, the devil's advocate viewpoint, right? So it's not their fault, they don't know any better. And this is actually the case with, I feel, most people on this planet, at least in America, that they base their opinions off of very basic, elementary levels of logic. They see, like, for example, small muscles equals weak. Big muscles equals strong. Sad, depressed equals weak. Happy equals strong. Or can't handle stress, in quotations, weak-minded. Can handle stress, strong-minded, right? And it dates back to, hundreds of years ago. Not even hundreds. This happened maybe 100 or 200 years ago. When a family had a child that was physically and visually disabled, you could see that there was something different about them right away. Not like, for example, dyslexia, which is a learning disability that you can't really see. I mean kids that had difficulty walking, and or kids with Down syndrome that have the very specific facial features and physical features. I mean those kids. When people had those kids, those children were murdered, tortured, put in these facilities to be tested on, and they were basically mistreated. They weren't considered the same level of human as somebody who was not physically or visually disabled. And And I'm thinking about how it's that stupid. Somebody saying that somebody who has a mental illness is just weak-minded, or somebody who's addicted to heroin is just weak-minded, and they can choose to not be that way, but they're just too weak-minded to be able to choose that, and they want to just be sad and they like the attention. Those are the same types of people that 150 years ago, they would have said that a person with a physical, visual disability is a defective human. Like, okay, a perfectly looking person standing up, looking forward, being able to talk, getting a job, living in a house equals strong, normal person. A person who cannot stand on their own, who has a very different facial features than them, who has speech problems, equals weak person, defective, genetically a mistake. So they are to be disposed of. We don't need them here. It's the same people, but 200 years in the future. In the present, right? And I can't get those thoughts out of my head for some reason. It's really invading my brain today for some reason. And it probably has a lot to do with the fact that I work with special ed children and teens, that it's really resonating with me, that the majority of people think in that very black or white type of logic. It's just uneducated. And not to say that, getting a formal education equals smart and aware of these things, because that's not true. I went to college with a bunch of idiots. I went to college with a lot of very ignorant people. So I'm not saying higher education equals this level. It equals, understanding these concepts in a fuller, more appropriate way. But nobody has challenged that, I guess. Nobody has challenged their very basic and linear black or white logic that mentally ill equals weak-minded, never had a diagnosis equals strong-minded. And I guess I understand because of the very elementary logic that they are using, but it doesn't mean that I agree with it or that it's right. And it's just very unfortunate, because these are the people that grow up thinking that way. A plus B equals C. And chances of teaching these people otherwise is, I think, near impossible. People just get more stubborn the older they get. It's insane. And they'll stick to their guns, and they'll say that, no one's going to change me. If you think otherwise, then you let society get to you. It's also the people that say society a lot. It's really frustrating to me, but whatever. I just hope that these people one day can meet people that are different than them and realize that they are just as valuable as them. They're just a little bit different, I guess. All right, that's it.